my art has been created. I've got what I needed from the thought form. So I've enclosed them in this little publication so that they can inspire, imagination and change in your world. So the book itself is 5.5 inches wide and 8.5 inches high. It's an amazing paper. It's a hemp post-consumer and it's cardstock. So it's got an amazing texture to it, really nice color, natural tone, and it's got all these beautiful little flecks. And then everything is hand bound by me. So what is the book itself? It's my realization of the importance and value of drawing and symbolism, a language before we had words. And I recognize that I no longer have anything to ponder, to say specifically, because I don't know anything. I only know what I study and what I'm interested in consuming. And that's what these thought forms end up being. The notes end up being anything that stood out in my mind that touched my body in some way to make me think, I like that. Let me write that down. And then culminating together, it gives me visuals. And then I take those visuals and I seed them into the 7 seed words of the Quantum Memoir. So it's very intuitive. It's my intuitive work. And I believe that for anybody that looks at it, it's going to spark memories or thoughts or imagination, creativity. So I kind of personally view it as sort of a meditative book. So I've included blank spreads between each one of mine so that you could use your own inspiration and sparks of thoughts and put it down and see what you could create. So this is issue 1. It's going to be a publication that I'm going to be putting out every time I get 7 of these creative thought forms done. Then I'm going to put them into a booklet form, and then you're going to be able to get the issue. And I think that it'll probably work out to be maybe 1 a month or 1 a moon cycle. We'll see. To me, this is really just following a breadcrumb trail of my intuition. I don't know where it'll lead, but I'm excited about taking the adventure. So this is the fruit of life within the this ring here. And then if you don't know, these are little vector equilibriums. You can check that out if that interests you. So like I said, the book is hand bound, stitched by me, and it's a very heavy cardstock. And all of the art is also created by me. So I basically see these spreads that we're going to look at as a codex, are basically a code that you can just look at and meditate, and that could just be one level of your experience of it, and you could write down your thoughts. But if you want to go deeper into it, then you can go to my website. You can actually look at the notes that I've done in the images that I've already shown you in the original art and see the words much larger. You could also find the citation list of the articles and the videos that I consumed that helped influence one of these thought forms. So then you can go and do your own research, and you can do, your own deep dives into figuring out, why is this image or why is this word causing this feeling or thought within me? So it's really about self-awareness and self-reflection. It's helping prompt you to observe your experience. So this is the first codex. You just let your eyes get drawn to whatever feels most appropriate, like just sit and just kind of stare at it and see what comes up, what it's drawn to. And it doesn't matter what I am symbolizing in the drawing. It matters what thoughts or feelings comes up from you that you see in it. And then the next spread is for you to create your own. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Whatever comes up for you and however you want to do it, just go for it. If you want to see how I go about it, then you can go to the website, quantummemoir.com, and I give, basically like guidance or inspiration of what these 7 inner seed words mean to me, and then like the waxing and the waning energy. You can find a lot of different ways to use this thought form. But I've left these spreads in here so that you can let your imagination kind of run wild as well. Here's another one. So this is when I realized that, oh, this is my book of spells. Like, these are my book of words and symbols and meanings. Like, this is a language that I've created to communicate with myself. So this whole idea of the grimoire came up. There's another spread for you to work on. Here's that creative mind. And if you pay attention, you'll see how symbols, like how the spheres interrelate between one another, between the left and the right side of it, the top and bottom. You'll pull ideas together. Or you'll have feelings. Like, sometimes I feel like, wow, this looks kind of angry or mean. But I remember doing it. I was having a wonderful time sitting outside. It was a hot summer day and the sun was really shining. So this was very solar influenced. Another one, that the same thing outside, very solar influenced. You can see the sun in there. So, you know, there's other little doodles that might pop out to you. There's going to be just random words that you can then go and investigate and research and see what they mean to you. This is kind of like a book of divination, where you want to ask a question or you want to ponder something. You can just flip it open to a page, pick a spot, and then see what it says. It says persona is a complicated system of behavior. It's talking about a mandala. So this is a whole complicated system. Like, it's a very simple, it's just the same pattern over and over and over again. But as you continue to add layers to it, it gets more and more complicated. It creates a different form. And that's kind of what our personas have done, in our collective especially. And so then this is the last one. So there's 7 spreads in here that I've created, and then there's 7 blank spreads for you to create your own. Let's see if anything stands out. Hear the differences in thy thoughts. So it's really about just prompting your mind to ponder your experience. It's really observational. So each one of these books will have a completely different meaning, and it's going to, each one of the spreads will mean something different to each person that's going to look at it. Like, you know, you could come back to it 3 months and later and look at it, and it's going to mean something completely different. I know that because I've been doing it for years and I have that experience. So this is the very last page. This is that one that really kind of just seeded the whole idea of creating these as works of art instead of my own journaling practice, which are kind of a combination, but really just to perceive it as a work of art. So you can get the originals or you can get reprints. You can use them for crystal grids, tarot spreads. You can use it for visual meditation. And then if anybody wants help trying to get started and figure out how to do this, I also have some time available at this time to do some tutoring if that's something that interests you. Or you can just dive into it yourself. Just like literally just take this form and just do something with it. Just let your mind and your imagination just kind of spill out onto the page and see what happens. Or you can use the 7 seed words that I use and see what you can grow.
So I suppose there's just one last thing to say, which is thank you. I want to thank everybody that's been following the Quantum Memoir Instagram account for these last few years while I've been pondering out loud my thoughts and exploration of self-discovery and my interpretation of the world. And somehow it has culminated into this publication, The Grimoire. So I thank you for, all of that engagement, because it's gotten me somewhere and I love where I'm at. So I hope to share that enthusiasm with you through all of this art.